Hello, welcome to Sell the Team, a New York Mets podcast. How's everyone doing? I got a very, very important, great guy, hilarious comedian from Boston, Will Noonan.
Hey, what's up, brother?
What's up, buddy?
My dog just started attacking the tripod as you were introducing me. He sat
Maybe,
here.
maybe
Yeah,
because I said something about the Mets, and he's very,
yeah.
he's very Boston. He remembers the '86 series.
That's
Oh,
it.
look at that guy! Wow, buddy, how great is it getting a dog? I want to get a dog so bad.
Oh, it's awesome. We just got him about 3 months ago,
Yeah.
and it's a blast, dude. He's with me all the time. We just do everything together.
Oh, look at that! I'm
Yes.
honestly I'm hoping this real estate goes down in the city, and I'm getting my own place and getting a dog, and that's it.
I think that's gonna happen.
I think it's over for women. I don't give a shit about women anymore. Comedy's toast. I don't care. As long as I get a dog, I'll be happy.
That's a good. Speaking of women, my girlfriend just walked in.
We got a lot going on the podcast here.
Rocco, dude, it's this. The fun never stops here in the Boston quarantine apartment or whatever. Now,
How is it going for you up there? Is comedy back?
yeah, we're getting back to. I feel like we're getting back to something very close to normal right now. I'm getting booked again, like most weekends. So I'm still doing some weird sort of virtual stuff, like here and there.
Okay.
Like on. Like they do it. Some of the clubs here are doing like empty stadium gigs, or like you go do a show at the club and people can just watch it from home.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so they're tough though.
That's
So
gotta be brutal.
those have kind of been getting canceled. But the funny thing is, I go to New Hampshire. I've been going to New Hampshire a ton because like their regulations are way looser than Massachusetts. So like you can go up there and do 100-person shows and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Look
So
at you. Boston
so
comedy is making a comeback again.
Yeah, Boston comedy is crushing. It does make me laugh. Like all these years, the past couple of years, everyone's like, "Dude, you gotta get to New York. You gotta get to LA." And I'm like, coronavirus has proven Boston was at least good for this for 2020.
Well, you always stay. You were never going away. You can't get it. You can't get away from these Red Sox and their.
No, I love Boston. I love the Reds. This year has been brutal in multiple ways as a Red Sox fan. It's been tough. Like the off season was tough. Like I honestly thought I thought Alex Cora getting suspended for the year was going to be like the saddest thing that happened to me this year. Like I thought that would be the hardest hurdle that I'd have to get over this year. Then Mookie Betts was really basically went out the door.
Yeah.
And then coronavirus delays half the season, and then they come back and they fucking stink.
Yeah. So how do you feel about Mookie Betts leaving? Were you upset about that, or you're like,
Super upset. I'm still upset.
You guys went the Yankee model too, of like, well, we'll just pay everybody, and then now you're not paying the Yankee model, and then that sucks.
Of all the guys to not play that model on, too, he's the guy. Like he came out of our farm. It's like, why do you have a farm system? Why do you try and get guys? Why do you do this if you're not gonna He should have been a Red Sox for life, and instead we're kind of stuck with Chris Sale, who can't pitch half the time. Dombrowski, our old GM, he paid a ton of money to a ton of dudes, and there was none left for Mookie Betts.
Well, yeah, you guys got screwed up. The price deal, when that went down, I was like, that's a horrible deal.
Yeah, it was just that was the price deal was terrible. The Chris Sale deal was pretty bad. The Nathan Eovaldi deal was terrible. Mm-hmm. He got like a huge contract just for having a good World Series, which is good, but I don't know. At the time, I remember thinking good for them. They're taking care of that guy. But now I'm like, oh, that was a huge mistake.
Yeah, you guys, are you happy with them selling it? Are you like, all right, let's go rebuild? Because Dombrowski kind of, even though you won a World Series with him, he's kind of screwed you over.
He's overspent. He spent us into a corner.
Then he got rid of a lot of your prospects.
I hate to say it. There's a guy I blame for a lot of the Red Sox troubles that doesn't really get a lot of.
Babe Ruth.
No, I was going to say Dustin Pedroia. Dustin Pedroia has been taking up a roster spot for 3 years. He's only played 2 games in those 3 years. He refuses to really like retire, so that way they can't really bring in someone to
but
replace him.
isn't he making like $30 million a year?
And he's making a shitload of
Yeah.
money.
What would you retire?
I guess not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wish they could just like. I wish he would just not like. I don't know. There's a way. Isn't there a way to not play but still get paid? You know what I mean? Just take him off the active roster.
Well, yeah, but he's still on the book stuff for the salary cap. That's the same thing that happened with.
So we're paying him. There's a million guys that we're just paying like out the ass like forever, and Mookie Betts is just gonna crush it and be a Hall of Famer. And I mean, we got a World Series. I got to see him. I saw him hit for. I was at a 3 home run game that he had, so it's like I saw him hit a grand slam. Like I've got the Mookie Betts experience, but still, it's just like that's the kind of guy you think you're gonna watch forever.
Yeah, it still hurts.
Oh,
especially
huge.
when he's one of yours. Like when you draft him and he comes up through your system, you're like, oh, this is our guy. This is our guy. The Mets have that now.
Yeah,
like, we get rid of like pitchers because Wilpons won't fucking pay anybody. And like the other day, Zach Wheeler, who came up through our system, then he pitched against us. We're like, Jesus Christ. And then dominated us.
Like, no, the Mets are a classic example. Mets have done that a bunch of times, and it's just, I don't know. It's a real frustrating thing. And I've always kind of hated the business of baseball. I've never really been great with the contracts, and guys just kind of come and go, you know what I mean? But it's like the Mookie Betts, I just thought over the past few years, he's just going to be a Red Sox forever. He just seemed like he would be. And it's a business, though. There's nothing you can do about that.
You did get you got your GM now is Hein Bloom, and he was immediately like, we're chopping everybody off.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened. That's what happened. It was between Hein Bloom and Brody Van Wagenen for the Mets GM, and then Hein Bloom was like, we're going to cut everybody, and we're going to go start from the bottom. And the Mets owners were like, no, we don't want to do that. We'll just get this guy in who has no idea what he's doing.
Yeah.
And screw it up even more.
I think it's sort of like if Chaim gets some wins, great. But we really just want him to eat a couple years here and not spend a lot of money. Like that's really his main job. And sadly, I think that's the same thing with Renicky. As soon as they hired him, I was like, they have no intention of competing for a World Series. Like I
feel bad for Renicky because he's just the guy for this year. Like you're gonna get a new manager.
It's obvious.
Yeah, it's so obvious. Cora got screwed over. You hear me?
Yeah, I lost you for a second. Froze for a second.
Oh, we got back. Get some better Wi-Fi in that Boston area.
Yeah, we're good. We should be good. I'm like, what the fuck? It's probably my fault. I got a few. I'm gonna make sure I don't have any other apps open.
There it is.
There we go.
Are you on your phone right now?
Yeah, my phone is so much better than my laptop when it comes to Zoom calls.
Really?
1,000 times better.
All right.
I got an iPhone X.
You got what?
I got an iPhone X, and I got a Surface 2.
I was that way for a while. I think I had a Microsoft computer. The fucking battery was falling out. But I got the iPhone 11, so I'm good to go.
I don't want to brag, but when I got my laptop, I went out and got one of those construction worker laptop cases that's metal. You know what I mean? It's metal and rubber. So it's just still the same. It still runs great. It's taking a beating.
Yeah, I gotcha.
That's how we do it up here in Boston, Scopo.
Yeah,
we beat the shit out of our laptops.
Just like the women. All right, so I always picture Red Sox and Met fans as kind of allies.
Absolutely.
Because we hate the Yankees.
When I lived in New York, I was an honorary, especially being in National League, American League, I was I can really follow the Mets, root for the Mets. Yeah. Pedro Martinez was pitching for the Mets at that time. I was I bought a Mets hat and shit. I felt a little dirty putting it on. So then I ended up getting one. I bought one the Billy Crystal Mets hat that they wear.
Yeah.
And then I was Billy Crystal City Slickers. And then I was it just feels too wrong. So then I ended up getting kind of a more it said Mets on the side, and I didn't feel as dirty wearing it.
It's still I when the Red Sox got that when they won the 04 championship, I bought a Red Sox banner.
Wow.
That had all the things. I just hate it. I hate the Yankees so much, and I was I still have that banner. It's in my parents' garage.
Yeah, that period of time too, the 03, 04, '02, like the Red Sox rivalry, Red Sox Yankee rivalry during that time was like amazing. You know what I mean? It was so good. They just really fucking hated each other in real life and on
Yeah, even the players hate each other.
No, it was great. Like they just didn't like each other, and it was sort of like a great thing to have. Like I was spoiled. I mean, obviously everyone knows Boston fans are spoiled, but it's like, talk about being spoiled. I was like, as soon as I hit like fucking 19 years old, it was just like championships between the Patriots, the Red Sox.
How many championships have you seen?
Oh my God. Like, I don't even know. Patriots' first Super Bowl was when I was like 19. Okay. Then I don't even know how many times the Pats won the Super Bowl like in my life.
Six times.
Yeah, that's right.
How do you not know that? That's how spoiled you are. You're like, we have like over five.
Red Sox won in 04, 07, and 2013.
And 2017.
And 2017. And the Celtics won in 08. And I think the Bruins won in the Bruins one is the outlier. Bruins won in 05 or 06, I think. And Tim Thomas was the goalie, I remember. But yeah, we had just it was fucking crazy there. The Celtics one was one of my favorite ones. That was also really great. The 04 Red Sox, the Celtics, and 08. Those were probably my top two.
Okay, what's your favorite Red Sox memory? Like, just memory.
Well, man, I got a million now. I went to fucking spring training last year.
Okay.
Spent
that's
3
fun.
weeks.
3 weeks?
Yeah, I ended up getting it was awesome, dude. They have Sam Adams, Jimmy Dunn, and the Red Sox all put together this comedy thing that was the whole spring training. It was near the ballpark and everything, and I did 3 weeks of shows.
That's awesome.
And then other comedians would come and go. It was awesome. I tried to bark Tony La Russa into the show. I was handing out flyers just kind of for fun, and I saw Tony La Russa, and I was like, hey, I'm doing it, because a ton of major league scouts came to the shows. We ended up talking to them, and a bunch of the media guys, a couple relief pitchers.
Oh, so you met some players?
Yeah, I met a couple players. I met a bunch of retired players, tons of those.
Really?
Jared Saltalamacchia, who's one of them. Remember him?
So he is the longest. You got me?
Yeah, I got you back. Dude, I got a funny Saltalamacchia story. He's a total so he's doing commentary now, but he can still play. He's in playing shape. He's a Gabe Kapler type of guy.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to this. I ended up making friends with a lot of the TV crew guys. So I'm talking to one of those guys, and Jared Saltalamacchia just walks up, and the guy I'm talking to has a dog, and the dog's sitting at his knee, and Jared Saltalamacchia is like, your dog looks thirsty, and he puts out his hand and he just pours water into his hand, and the dog starts drinking water out of Jared Saltalamacchia's hand. And I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? I was like, Saltalamacchia.
Did you know it was him?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's obvious to me. I thought when I was down there in Florida, I was like, it's you just see these guys, you're like, I'm not even on the same level as these dudes in any way. They're bigger, they're wider, they're just shredded.
Yeah, you realize quick how not good of a human being you are compared to professional athletes. You're like, oh, they're just a better crafted person.
So I saw Tebow play for the Mets down there.
Oh, yeah, he's a big boy.
Really up close. I was watching him take I was maybe 3 feet away from him when he was taking practice swings, and I was like, this guy is probably one of the most in shape people and large people I've ever seen, and all I've ever heard him is get shit on on sports radio.
He can literally just beat the shit out of anybody.
And I'm like, if you look at him, you would never fucking think that this guy's not the greatest athlete the world has ever seen. Mm-hmm. And then all you hear about him on sports radio is how he sucks. But I got to say, he was super nice. He was obviously getting more attention than really almost any player on the entire Mets. But he was humble, like really humble about it, and like didn't even wave too much because you could tell he was like, I'm like on the bottom of the totem pole here. Like I'm just trying to play baseball and make this team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then he was really good with some kid fans and stuff like that after.
Well, when the Mets signed him, he went to like Binghamton, and for like literally 2 weeks straight, they just sold out of games in Binghamton. Goes
Yeah.
ahead, and he's batting like 100, and they're like, we gotta play Tebow because Tebow's bringing everyone to the game.
I mean, it's funny, you know. I almost had no opinion. I really had no opinion of the guy, and then after I saw him and watched him play the game, I was like, I hope things turn out well for Tim Tebow. I'm like, he looks like a nice guy. You know, he got a couple hits when I saw him.
Yeah, good for Tim. He's doing horrible in life. Let me tell you, he's struggling. Just a 2 sports, and he's actually not like for not playing baseball for 10 years. He's pretty good,
right? And I think he makes a lot of money from like Nike. Yeah, I don't even think.
I think he's doing well financially. The
guys like that, they don't even worry about the baseball money, you know.
Yeah, he's not getting the 600 from the government right now. He's doing fine. So did any players like come to shows and like want to do comedy? I heard like a lot of like baseball players like comedy.
Yeah, we couldn't get like. We tried it. The thing with like active players was they just didn't want anything to do with it at all. They were kind of like Ryan Brazier, who's a reliever, was like we hung out with him and like he seemed cool. But then like as soon as we were like, hey, you should come to the comedy show, he was like, nah. Like it was just kind of like it was almost like I could get in trouble. That was like the vibe, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
really?
When they're down there, they're not really supposed to be seen doing anything too fucked up. Because it's like spring training. It's like they're supposed to be training, you know?
Okay.
I guess. I don't know if that's really true, but but we got I can't remember the guy's name right now. He's a commentator.
Eduardo Perez?
No. I can't even believe I'm forgetting the guy's name because he was such a nice dude and like but I just smoked too much weed. I forget everybody's name. But he does commentary with Tom Caron on Nesson, and he used to be a reliever for the Sox. And he came twice. He came once and then brought his family again a second time.
Oh, that's cool.
And but one of the coolest things too is like I got to go on WEI, like our local radio, like and do like an inning like on the radio with the guys there, and I got to be like, oh, that's a can of corn. Like,
really?
You know, I got to like kind of put on the headphones and do an inning on WEI in spring training.
Did you
I was like Rob Bradford and Tom Caron.
Did you do any like anything good? Like you call a home run, call a base hit, or?
I called them pop fly. I was like,
oh really?
Yeah. They go pop fly center, and I go, that's a can of corn right there. He's got no problem with that, major leaguer. And they were like, yeah, that's right, Will.
That's cool. That's a fun experience that you had to do that.
No, it was really cool. I got to meet Joe Castiglione. He's our old time. He's the guy who really does that during the regular season. He's probably in his 80s. He doesn't do spring training. He doesn't do every game. But I happened to see him in the hallway, and he was like, yeah, I just came down to watch the game. He's like, it's my day off, but I just wanted to watch some baseball today. And I'm like, this guy watches like 162 games a year, and he still wants to go watch on his day off.
What else are you going to do at Fort Myers? Really isn't a lot to do.
That's not a lie.
Yeah.
We had a hard time filling the hours.
Yeah, the Mets. Everyone knows like when the Mets get injured, they go to Port St. Lucie, and like the players are just known to just not want to go.
Yeah,
they're like I'll rehab in New York. I do not want to go to Port St. Lucie.
They didn't want to. The Red Sox didn't want to go to Port St. Lucie to play. They didn't want to because they do their away games there.
Yeah, that's how bad it is.
They were trying to finagle a way where they could just get the Mets to only play. Like, we can play twice as many games at JetBlue.
Yeah, they don't want to go. It's the worst. It's supposedly like with the worst city to do anything because there's nothing. I went down there for a couple of Mets spring training. There's one Buffalo Wild Wings, and that's it.
And it's like a 2-hour drive through fields to anywhere else.
Yeah, it's horrible. I remember that. It's horrible.
Florida was a trip, man. I actually kind of got into it in certain ways. But in other ways, I was like, man, this is like it's not a surprise how the news talks about Florida.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Like, I saw guys, like, wearing T-shirts that said, like, if you see me wearing this shirt, I just took a shit.
You know, there's a reason why they lead the country in COVID cases. You know.
Yeah. I
All right.
know.
I got to. What's your who's your most hated Red Sox player? Like the guy they signed, and you just like automatically like, I hate this guy.
Oh, man. This past couple years, it's been Stephen Wright, who's a knuckleballer.
Yeah.
I just can't root for that guy. He's got a domestic violence. That's one of the things that always turns me off on a guy when, like, they beat their wives. I don't know. It's just something about me.
Yeah.
But I just never really thought he was that good of a pitcher, and they only kind of kept him around because he was a knuckleballer. But I'm like, unless you're a good knuckleballer, you're just a huge liability. You know what I mean? Like,
he's not the second coming of Wakefield.
Not even close. You know what I mean? It felt like they were keeping him around as like a novelty to just kind of like keep a knuckleballer on the team, like keep people coming to Fenway to see knuckleballs. You know, Pedroia past couple of years is like grinding my gears. I can't obviously, like, the guy was like a fucking one of our best players and one of our most like gritty and just awesome players.
Yeah,
so
he won an MVP. He won an MVP for you guys.
Yeah, like, I can't shit on him for, like, I can't really dislike him because he was so good, but lately, like in 2019 when we were like really eating shit right after winning World Series, I was like, I think most of that was because we spent the first half of the season trying to get Pedroia back on the field, and it was like, you just won a World Series with the team, like, you know, why are you trying to force this?
Because he's probably making $30 million a year.
That's why, but it was the beginning of kind of all these problems, you know. And
I remember that happened with David Wright when David like wasn't playing for like a year and a half. Everyone's like, why doesn't he just retire? I'm like, he's making $25 million. If he retires, he makes $0 million.
It's true. I don't blame the guys for that either, because the teams would fuck them out of that money in 10 seconds.
Oh yeah, if this was the NFL, they would have cut him and he would have saw no money.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't blame those guys for doing that, and especially with these huge. I mean, the Red Sox have so much money that it's not that they don't have enough money to pay Mookie Betts. It's just that they're not legally allowed to pay him that much, you know, to pay that.
Yeah. You're printing money up there. I've been to Fenway. It's packed every game.
Yeah, and he owns. They own Liverpool soccer. They own a NASCAR team. You know, they own a lot of shit.
Yeah. Why do they want to really cut salary? That was a big thing. They really wanted to get under the salary cap.
It's just because they want to, I think, have another. They just want to make another huge blockbuster signing when it's time to do it. Okay. Because I think, sadly, sometimes, I don't know if this is real. Sometimes as a Sox fan, you're like, what's our ownership want? Like, are they trying to really win titles every year? Or do they like just being sort of a famous baseball club where it's kind of like, if we win the title every few years, that's good. But we also have to have like big signings, big name players. Like, we have to be active in every free agent market. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, you got to rival the Yankees. Exactly. But I felt like we have been, and there was kind of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality on my end, Chris. But no one was listening to me. You got to get back on WEEI and talk about it. I know. I used to go on a lot more. Yeah. And honest to God, they like, I've done some stuff with the Red Sox over the past couple of years, and they're like cool as hell, and everyone who works there is cool as hell. But it's like, you know, I don't know the guys who like sign players. I did some research before I had Joe List on, and I did some research about their owners. You guys, you know, your team, your guys didn't want him at all. Is it Henry who owns it? Yeah. Yeah. When he bought the team, like the fan base went nuts. Hello? I lost you for a second there again. Oh, yeah, say that. Yeah, I said when John Henry bought the team, the fan base went nuts. They did not want him as the owner. No, which was stupid. Yeah, and then he won 3 years later. You're like, all right, not bad. You guys are pretty good. But a lot of people were happy though. A lot of people, like me and my brother, were happy. Not because of anything to do with him, though. We just hated the old GM who the Sox had for years, Duquette. I can't remember how you pronounce it. Jim Duquette. Yeah, but it was like
became the Mets GM for a little bit. That's how I know that. Yeah.
So we knew that the new ownership was the end of him, so we were just happy about that.
Yeah. All right, what's the greatest game you've personally seen?
Damn. Well, I went to a World Series game against the Astros in 2018, and that was ALC.
ALCS, yeah. Oh, you went to – it was in Fenway.
Yeah, in Fenway. And it was like fourth row. My brother has season tickets like with his law firm. It's like it's so dope. About 4 rows back. That was pretty amazing. But I don't know, man. I think some of my happiest memories have to be from that probably from like the 2004 season, you know, when it was just kind of an improbable run and like all these wins in the ninth with David Ortiz kind of knocking it out. But I don't know. I guess my favorite single Fenway memory has to be just walking in through the tunnel on the World Series to see the World Series. You know, I'd been to Fenway a million times, but it actually felt different that night. Like with the World Series shit painted on the field and the vibe was crazy.
Yeah,
you know?
I've been to Fenway one time. I was like, it's still like it's a small stadium. You can walk around the stadium, which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah,
and it's one of the old stadiums. Like, wow, this is like everyone's played here.
Yeah, when I was a kid, you couldn't walk around like that. Every section was like sectioned off. I think that's one of the. I don't like a lot of the changes of Fenway, but that's one of the ones I really like. Is like you can just walk the park. And shittily, most Red Sox ticket buyers leave by like the 6th inning. So, you know, you can upgrade your own seat pretty easily and really sit all over the park.
Yeah. Well, that's corporate fucking baseball right now.
Oh, it's
the worst.
I mean,
the worst.
Me and my buddies call it Club Fenway. It's just a bunch of hot chicks and a bunch of dudes in like dress shirts come in. They take selfies. They have 2 beers and they leave.
Yeah, that's like you watch a Yankee game or a Met game. It's not one person behind home plate in a jersey.
I know it's true.
It's tolerable.
And they're out of the chairs the whole time too, like getting shit. That's my brother's seats are in a good section. And it's like the people around you, like they never sit still. Like they're just always getting everything. Like they're like children. Everything that comes by. Ice cream.
Yeah, you got to get it because they go to like 4 games every 10 years. You never know.
Yeah.
What's the best heckle you've heard at a Fenway game? It's got to be some good ones up at Fenway.
Oh, dude, I've heard some great ones. Best one I ever heard was one of my favorites is the classic is when people yell "nice ass" to a first base coach as he's bent over.
Really?
Yeah. That's kind of a classic one. And Sox fans are good at knowing like first base coaches' names, umpires' names, like so they'll be like, Joe West, nice ass, you know what I mean? And you can just see the guy like straighten up a little bit. Like that's probably one of my favorites. One of my favorites, me and my buddy Ramage were at a Sox Blue Jays game and we were sitting really close and I don't remember who it was. One of the Blue Jays had slid in a second and he had ripped a hole in his pants.
Yeah.
And he was at bat and me and my buddy were just like, I believe in clean heckles. I believe in heckles that like kids can hear, you know? So we were like, hole in the pants. We got a hole in the pants up there. Oh, and he was like, it was getting laughs and stuff like that. We were like, can you feel the breeze through your pants? What's that feel like at the plate? Right. So he actually took a timeout and it was like a huge victory for like our whole section. We all cheered and everything.
Oh, really? He had
to take a timeout.
He got to you. He didn't he couldn't phase you guys out.
He stepped out of the box and he glanced in our direction.
Was it like a laughing glance or was it like fuck, shut the fuck up?
It was kind of like a laughing, but a little bit of a both. But everyone knew. Everyone in the section looked right at me and my buddy, and they were like, even the Blue Jays fans, and they were like, "Holy shit, you got him to step out of the box." So that's like a real happy memory. That's one I tell my poor girlfriend every single time we go to every Red Sox game.
All right.
Yeah, I'm like, I ever tell you the hole in the pants story?
I heckled the Toronto Blue Jays second baseman in 2009.
I got him to step out of the box, babe.
That's like, you know what that is? That's like when you do a comedy show and the comic is fucked up from the heckle and the guy always remembers it.
Oh
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know, fucking Andrew Schultz, I got him once. All right.
yeah.
All right. He's not Schultz. He was that night.
Yeah, my dad actually did that about Stephen Wright for years. My dad walked out of a Stephen Wright show
Really?
here in Boston, and he was like, "Yeah, I walked out on that guy one time." I was like, "Well, you showed him."
Yeah. Well, Steve, you got me. Hello. Is he dead? So
losing you.
You got hello.
I'm losing you, bro.
All right. You hear me?
Is that my Wi-Fi or your Wi-Fi?
I think it's my Wi-Fi. I don't know what's going on. It's just, listen, there was a shooting in Astoria like an hour ago, so maybe they're fucking hiding the Wi-Fi to fucking find people. I have no
Is it
idea.
as bad as people tell me? Everyone tell me that New York's like.
No, New York City. New York City is going to shit. Yeah, absolutely. But my area, I don't know. It literally was a shooting. Like there's helicopters all over my neighborhood a little while ago.
Wow.
Three people shot. So good things are going on in New York City.
Yeah, my buddies have just been saying it's like crazy there right now.
Not good. Not good.
I don't know what's going on.
All right. Last question. What's your favorite food when you go to a game? What do you get?
Oh, this is a great question because I've always lifetime been a hot dog guy, but in the past couple years, Fenway has put in Tasty burgers for like $4.75. The guy's like Tasty Burger, and he sells them walking around. But also, there's like behind the bleachers, there's like a Tasty Burger, and you can smell it though throughout the whole place. And I'm like, this is the new. It's new. So it's weird to say something new is like your favorite ball. Most people would be like peanuts, Cracker Jacks. But anytime anyone asks me at Fenway what's my favorite thing, now I'm like, it's the Tasty Burger.
Tasty Burger. Okay.
It's so good. I couldn't recommend it more.
Do you get ice cream in the hat, in the cup after the game or not?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't really do that.
No, I'm not a big dad either.
I'm not into that. I don't like carrying the hat around. I will sometimes get the huge diet or huge soda in the souvenir cup that I'll keep in my fridge or keep in my cabinet for years. I have a bunch of those.
Oh yeah, I do that. Definitely do that.
Yeah, that's a perfect water glass.
I get sausages and peppers and a Coke. You gotta get it.
Sometimes I'll grab that on the way out. They have a sausage guy. So on the walk to the car.
I had the sausages and peppers of them when I went to Fenway because I heard it was good. It was pretty good.
Yeah, they have some good ones. My brother's big on that. That's his go-to sauce.
Yeah. Perfect.
Fun, right? Everyone's got their thing.
Yeah. Thank you so much for doing the podcast, buddy. I appreciate it.
It was a blast. Thanks for having me, man. And I'm glad we both have minor league hockey player hair right now.
I know. We'd be good right now. You don't have the beard though. What's up with the beard? You shaving it?
I gotta do one or the other. I can't do both. I can't pull it off. Only you can, Chris.
Buddy, I'm on my second quarantine beard. I had a beard, shaved it, now I'm like, oh fuck, let's do it again.
That looks good.
Thanks, buddy.
You're off of carbs, you said too?
Carbs, everything. Buddy, I'm like in shape now. It's unreal.
Oh, good for you. Yeah, you look good.
Yeah, I mean my life is a mess. Mentally, I'm not doing well. But,
it's all right, it's one or the other.
If you look at me, like this kid has his life together, but deep down inside, not really.
Hey, just like the Red Sox. Not like the Mets are looking good this year, though. So
no, we're 10-14. We're doing.
Yeah, but you look good. You have a good.
Well, we're getting new owners, but no one knows who the owners are going to be. J-Lo and A-Rod want to buy it. No Met fan wants J-Lo and A-Rod. We want Steve Cohen, but of course, like the owners are not going to sell to Steve Cohen. It's just a whole fucking big fiasco.
Maybe the Red Sox will buy him.
You know what? That'd be nice. Maybe just join teams, and
that'd be cool.
Beat the Yankees. I'm down for that.
I'd love that.
Yeah.
Let's set it up. Well, thanks, man.
Buddy. Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. I'll talk to you soon.
Buddy.